Shalom, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Daily Dose of Hebrew. By the way, if you're hearing some fairly loud background noise, part of it I think is coming from the fact that we're having a day of heavy rain here in Phoenix as I record this. And this is sort of a rare thing for us, and it's always a blessing for us here in Phoenix, sort of like in the land of Israel. So we're looking today at Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 20. And we're getting toward the end of this chapter, and the Lord's judgment has been pronounced against his people. Jeremiah has been responding to it with a broken heart. And in verse 20, we're going to once again hear some words which are coming from the people themselves. Pretty short verse, pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and read it in Hebrew as we get started. Avar katsir kala kaitz ve'anachnu lo nosha'anu. So avar, what do we have here? Well, this is just a good old perfect. There's going to be a 3ms and a cal from our verb avar, which means to cross over or to pass. It can also mean transgressed. It's a word with a lot of wide semantic range, but in this context here, it means something that has passed. And what has passed is the katzir. Katzir is a word for harvest. So the harvest time has passed. And kala is another verb, once again, it's a perfect 3ms cal from the verb kala, which means to be at an end. So something else is at the end. Well, what is kaitz? Well, kaitz is just the word for summer. So the harvest is past, the summer has ended. It's like, oh boy, so we're past the spring, the harvest is in late spring, the summer is over, so we've been waiting now for a long time. And you could even translate this as a but we not no sha'anu. Now this is the one that's a little bit tricky for us. We see this new ending right here. This is going to be, and a no at the beginning. This could throw us a little bit. What we have here is this is going to be a perfect. It's going to be a perfect first common plural with the new ending on it. There's our affirmative right there. Now, what's our verb and why do we have a nun at the beginning? Well, this is actually going to be a nifal, and the verb is a verb which we know pretty well, yasha, which means to save or to deliver. A lot of our other nouns, including the name of Yeshua, come from this. I'll put it in parentheses because it's not used in the cal, but we find it here in the nifal. And as you know, some of these verbs that begin with a yod were originally one vav verbs, and what you're seeing right here is this initial vav that comes down from this yod here. Instead of the yod, the initial vav shows up again. So this is not a sign of a participle at all. This is actually the initial vav, and then the nun prefix of the nifal. So if this means to save or to deliver in the nifal, it would be to be saved. And this is, of course, first common plural. And we are not saved. So deliverance was supposed to come. You're thinking back to the time of Hezekiah when God delivered his people. Well, now we've been waiting for a long time. This is not the time of Hezekiah. And Zedekiah, who is actually on the throne right now, is not, or the last few kings of Judah as well, are not the kings like Hezekiah at all, so they're much more wicked kings, and the deliverance has not come. Matter of fact, back in chapter 7, verse 10, the people were standing in the temple precinct, on the temple courtyard, saying, this is the temple of the Lord, so therefore we are going to be delivered. And we are delivered because his presence is here with us. Well, now the harvest has come, the summer has passed, and we are not delivered. So it's quite a contrast. Let's go ahead and hide our work and look at a couple translations just very quickly. Christian Standard Bible. Over here, harvest has passed, summer has ended, but we have not been saved. Or again, in the Net Bible, they paraphrase it just a little bit more. They cry, so they're specifying it's the people who are saying this, but that's pretty obvious in the context when you get to this we over here. They cry, harvest time has come and gone, and the summer is over, and still we have not been delivered. There's not too much else you can do in terms of translation. All of our translation is going to be in this general context here. But again, the idea is that the people were expecting some sort of a miraculous deliverance from the Lord. But the Lord isn't that kind of a God that just works automatically for his people. He wants his people to respond to him, and they have consistently refused to respond to him. And therefore he has sent his chastening hand upon them. And they need to realize this. This is not something God did willingly. It's not something the prophet wanted to see. He would much rather that we turn, repent, and that the people had truly responded in a good way. Well, check back with us soon as we get to the last couple verses in the weekend edition of the Daily Dose of Hebrew. Shalom.